So here's the answers to the next set of problems. This one is the walk cycle. So that's with the letter G. So I'll pull out a G event. And I will add in from looks. This is the first time we're getting some looks here. You might have used switch costume, and that's great. You could say switch costume to 1, switch costume to 2, and make that loop around. It turns out next costume is really convenient if you just want to go through all your costumes and loop back to the beginning costume again. So next costume is really nice for going through all your costumes. And by the way, just to make sure, in case anyone didn't know, if you click on the costume tabs, you can see the different costumes. And you can even kind of manually change them. So I'm going to use next costume. And if you just put that in a say a forever loop or something, then you get the flash. Which, if your project's about the Flash, then maybe that's what you want. That's pretty fantastic. But most cats, well, actually cats do move pretty fast, but maybe not that fast. So what I'm going to do is add in a wait block. Wait is going to be useful for so many different things. Basically, it just holds up the script for however many seconds you type in, and you can put in a decimal number. So you can experiment with what it is. So I'll put in 0.2, for example, and let's see how that turned out. And that's kind of going back and forth. Well, it looks all right. It looks okay. You can fine tune it from there. If you're like, no, I don't like that. I'd like it to be a little faster or slower. That's your choice. But as long as you know how to change the speed of animation, that's the main thing. So again, the script looks like this. Basically a forever loop. I'm just switching to next costume and then waiting. If you did sort of switch to costume 1, wait, switch to costume 2, wait, and loop that, that's great too. And actually sometimes that's important because maybe you have many different animations. You have a walk cycle and a punch and a kick and a jump. And so you can't just go through all of them. So that's actually going to anticipate some of the stuff we're going to do later on in the course. So good times. Next is the growing and shrinking, in and out and growing and shrinking. So that's going to, again, use the show. I'm going to use an event that is the letter H. So I'm just going to duplicate my last script and then chuck the rest of it away because I'm lazy. I mean efficient. Yes, efficient is what I am, not lazy at all. And I'm probably going to use that forever loop, actually, so I'll actually steal that too. So in order to grow and shrink, that one's actually pretty tricky now that I think about it. It's probably going to be changing and then changing size. So if we go to size, we got change size by, which is what we want here, change size by 10. So for the first while, we want to change it maybe to grow, change by 10 to increase its size, and then we want to change by -10 to decrease its size. So how am I going to do that? Well, I want to change by 10 maybe 10 times. So I'm going to take a repeat loop. And that's under control. So maybe I'll change size by 10 times, and then I'm going to duplicate this, and then I'll change size by 10, -10 times. And then I'm going to stick that in a forever loop. So this is what I call nested loops. And a lot of power comes from nested loops. So in the forever loop, I'm going to do this 10 times, and then it's going to happen again. Do this 10 times, this 10 times. Happen again. 10, 10. Again. 10, 10. So it just makes that happen. Nested loops are all sorts of useful in various things. Oh no, my cat got kind of giant. I guess it was doing things while I wasn't looking. So I can always just go to the size. Do you guys see above the sprite menu? I could just type in a size manually to reset it. And that's fine. So put it back to 100. The size is a percent, by the way. So 100% is just the original size. If I press H now, you can see it's kind of going in and out. And, imagine as you're making your project, you can make some great uses of this. Like I can imagine things like in TV or anime, like the zoom in to the face, the facial expression at that awkward moment, and adding in the wah wah sound or something. Like you can kind of recreate some camera zoom techniques and different stuff. The classic thing when the character gets upset in anime, they're like, "Rah!" And there's crazy lines happening behind them. And then maybe the camera is kind of shaking focus, in and out. You could recreate those kind of things. It just takes a good theme to start making you wonder, like, oh, how could I do that? And start putting interesting things together. Last but not least, it's the combining one. So again, just pressing one letter, pressing the letter I, not pressing like, D and something else at the same time. We want to make it so that as the cat goes around in a square, it's also going to, it could do the in and out one, or it could do the costume changing one. So I'm going to introduce you to the concept of parallel scripts. So parallel scripts basically means two scripts with the same event that'll happen at the same time. And I'll show you why you need the parallel scripts too. So let's start with the code that makes it go around in a square. So I'm going to go grab that. That's up here somewhere. Yeah, right here. I'll just duplicate it. And it's a long way down, so I'll have to like copy and move. Oh, actually, maybe I can introduce you to the backpack. If you don't want to like drag scroll, there is this thing called the backpack that lets you take scripts even from other projects, and you can dump it in your backpack, and then you can scroll down and then pull it out of your backpack. And so, oh no, it snapped to the top. Oh, I thought I was totally helping you with this. It turned out it just snapped to the top, so it doesn't actually help you there. But it is kind of cool that you can take things from other projects. So maybe you did something in another project. You can even take entire sprites from other projects and drag and drop them into your current place. We'll use this when we do our AI battle. We'll drag and drop our AI-controlled sprites. Anyways, I want to make this an I key. So here's the thing. If you try to do this in one script, where would you put like the rotation? Like if you stuck like some rotation in here, then it would glide, and then when it got to the corner, then it would rotate. And then it would glide again, and then stop, and then rotate. Like, there's no way to put that in the middle of the glide block. So what you have to do is make a second parallel script that's running at the same time as this script. And you can totally do that. You can have two scripts running at the same time to create excellent effects. So I'm going to just slide it over here. I'll duplicate it, and I'm going to steal the code for, say, I don't know. Which one did I say I was going to do? Let's just do the in and out one. So check it out. This is what's called as parallel scripts. So these are both happening at the same time because they use the same event. See, they both have the when I press I as the event. And they'll both happen at the same time. If you tried to put them together, these would block that one, but because they're in separate scripts, they don't block each other. So if I press I, oh dear, I don't know what happened. I pressed the wrong key, but anyways, here we go. Press I, and see it goes around, and they do both scripts at the same time. It'll keep on doing this one, but that's okay. I'm happy with that. Oh, imagine that could be a heartbeat, hey? If you had a heart sprite, you can make it like come in and out, beep, 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 beep. Beep, beep. Oh, there's so many possible things you could do with it. Again, picking an interesting theme will help you come up with cool, unique ideas for making your project. So there we go. There's some things. And we don't have much time left, so maybe I'll quickly just keep the camera rolling here and introduce you to a couple things about editing sprites, which I think you'll find might be surprising, especially if you've never done any vector graphic editing. And if you're mostly used to bitmap editing, you're going to be frustrated. You're going to be like, why won't it do the thing I want it to do? I just want to draw a line. It won't let me draw a line, and so on. So I'll have to show you the difference between the two. I'll do that by drawing a new sprite. So it's always fun to watch me try to draw. So let's see how it goes. So if you want to make a new sprite, you can click down here on the little new sprite button in the sprite menu. And I want to draw one, so I'll click paint. And so by default, this is in vector mode. So vector mode means if you were to use a tool to draw something, it's not permanent. In fact, it's not even, the pixels aren't even set in stone. They're totally malleable. They can totally be changed in all sorts of interesting ways. So I'm going to draw a stick man, because even I can draw a stick man. It's going to be a purple-headed stick man. It appears. So, drawing circles and stuff is pretty straightforward. And I can draw some lines for the sticks that make the stick man. Didn't quite nail that one there. There we go. So now, regularly, if I was using like, paint or something, like I screwed that up, I would go in and erase it. But you can't erase pixels in vector mode because those pixels aren't permanent. So it doesn't make sense to like erase them. You can just click and change them. So I'll show you this tool over here. The one that is called the select tool. Like these shapes are still live. So I can click on that and then I can still adjust it. Like I can move it around and stuff. This like grows it and shrinks it. Wait, but I should be able to change sort of the end axis as well. I guess not. But then I guess it's this other tool here. The Reshape Tool. So that's really cool. So I can go to the Reshape Tool and I can sort of click on the end point of a line and I can like move it around now. Because it's not permanent. And I can get it like better. And even more exciting, the Reshape Tool, you can like put a point in the middle of something and then bend it. So watch this. If I wanted to say, make a new costume. I wanted to make, anyone here read Captain Underpants before? Back in the day? No? So my kids love this Captain Underpants. Yeah, Captain Underpants. Cha-la-la. It's so bad, but it's so good. My kids just are addicted to it. But there's, in the books, they have this flip-o-rama. So you go back and forth. And it's usually like, one frame of animation and then another frame. And it's usually like Captain Underpants like kicking somebody in the butt or something else that, 7-year-olds think is hilarious. And they totally have wrecked their books. Every library book with a flip-o-rama in it is trashed. So every kid like just destroys those books. Anyways, that doesn't matter. But I'm going to make a quick flip-o-rama here. I'm going to go back and forth. Maybe he's going to like flex. Yeah, flex his arms. But, oh no, they're straight lines. I can't flex. That's okay. I'll duplicate the sprite, and then to flex it, I'll use the Reshape tool. And I'll just click here, and I'll click again. And look, I put a new node in it, and now I can click, and I can bend the arm. Oh no, I bent it again. Too much bending.
I think you broke his arm.
Yeah, no, that's okay. That's okay. Hold on. Maybe now that I've added a new part in, how do I go from here? There's totally a way to do this. Yeah, maybe I'll just undo. Oh, ouch. So Control Z will undo things. Let's go back right to here. Let's see if we can figure this out. So I can move this arm so we can wave or something. That's great. So maybe what I'll do is I'll move the arm out here, and then I'll click and I'll bend it in. Not beautiful, but it's kind of turning into a dab now, I guess. I don't know, whatever. And then it's gotten really bad. Whoa, look at that flex. Whoa! And so, like, you can kind of manipulate things. So I can go kind of back and forth. Whoa, he's really, really flexing. And you can get crazy with it. Like the circle, for example. Like, you can warp the circle. Like, make cone head. Like, this is getting a little too crazy. But can you see the advantage of using vector graphics? They're malleable. You can reshape them, reform them. And if you add, like, say I wanted to put something behind this character, there's layering. You can move them back and forth with the layering. But sometimes you just want to draw a line. You want to color something in. You want to, like, sketch something. So that's bitmap mode. If I switch to bitmap mode, then you get your typical tools of, like, a paintbrush, where I can just draw some stuff. And I can't reshape it or anything, but maybe I just wanted to, like, sketch something in. I can erase. I can just erase part of it. That's what the bitmap mode is for. That typical, you're used to kind of editing, where these pixels are permanently stamped on the screen, and you can, like, erase them and redraw them and stuff, but you can't reshape them. And you can go back and forth between the two, but you might lose your nodes if you switch out of that. Anyways, thanks for listening, everybody. And thanks.